best lane of more beams.
His usually CRR trio is on the other side. This is not where they like to be. This is not where they like to fight, but you're just trying to get into these box fights out there, and it is kind of messing up their game plan that they're used to. Now you're seeing the lines are not set at the storm line. They're really going all the way out to POIs, and that's what Kinzel's trio did. They literally went all
Che cazzo però? Si sono tutti qua, che cosa?
the way up to Craggy Cliffs to kind of suffer, but there's still a team on the bridge. I also saw on the feed, Shio, Savage's trio taking out Pablo's trio, because we all know Pablo loves center, and Savage's trio was already sitting there, and they had a box fight, and Savage was able to kind of take out one of those members. We'll take a look if Pablo's trio is one of them still around here shortly.
This is the worst spot for Benji fishing bots.
Oh no,
every single time,
Benji.
every game. Scooped up from the dirt by a shovel of shots from high ground.
Questo qui è quello.
And now there's no way that these guys can
Benji.
dig back their chances at staying in this game. No shields, no reboot ban in sight. Matzo and Amplify have to operate as a duo. I know they're powerful, but they're so much stronger with Benji at the helm. Mosh is also just pushing right by towards the box. This man has taken out some of the most high-profile teams towards the top spot. In game 1, it was Seti, Cammy, and Teak. In game 2, it's Benji Fishy. These guys are basically bounty hunters running around the map.
It's up to Amplify and Matzo to kind of have that same performance that they had in day 1, game 1, where they're able to get a top finish without Benji. That duo is still strong. We all know that. Matzo now literally without any heals, down to one head, basically, and they're out.
It's not survive, it's just delay. That's the operating word. How far
delay
can they get before they're taken
I'm
out?
Optimistic. I'm optimistic. I think they could pull a miracle.
Man. Like, look at the HP. I'm not in this game, Sancho. I think I have more HP than these guys in total.
Here we go. CRR, we know, has the ability to do something, pull a magic out of his hat and get some beams right there on Wakey. This is an opportunity. You know, if they get a refish, they're right back in, and no! It was too much too soon, and the edits come down from Neb's trio. And they just see it. It's just sometimes you can't overcome statistics, Shio. You're right.
No, it's not even that, though. You're right in the fact that it could still affect the server. It took out Wakey from shields and HP down to nothing. That's going to affect the Sipnos and Kinzel's chances, that whole trio, of making it in. Talking about big trios, though. Hen, Chapix, Janice, High Grounds. This is kind of like, what is it, a metaphor for the standings right now. They're basically in placement. They already have 2 elims, so they're basically tied now for that first place slot, and they're looking down on everyone, making sure no one can touch them on heights.
And it was Hen's trio that was sitting at that tree mountain. They were the one there as well, set up early, and they had so many people try to claw away and take height from them. On the rotation from the other side of the center from previous zones, it is Savage's trio, and they're making their way into this fight as well. This is a match they desperately need, in my opinion. Confidence build up, because they do have championship pedigree. Tayson again going for that back-to-back championship. Let's go, boys. Let's get it done.
1. This is huge for them in 2, and they already have 5 elims in total.
Oh, Matti. Oh, ha detto mia mamma che devo spegnere proprio.
No, ma si è bloccato il torneo.
In che senso? Vabbè, comunque ha detto mia mamma che devo spegnere proprio.
Ma come? No, ma si è rotto il torneo.
In che senso?
Si è rotto il torneo, guarda.
No, io lo vedo bene, io lo sto vedendo.
Io lo vedo bloccato.
Vabbè. Mia mamma che devo andare.
Ecco, allora lo vedo.
All down. They're not gonna have it. That sword ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna cut it, dude. They're just too strong right now. That structure is too massive for even that to take it down.
Oh, but Seti going for the revive, not gonna be possible for him to have the awareness at the same time to look at the right side of his wall. A second game where Seti, Cammy, and Teak don't down to the mouth, and now it's just Teak with no shields. He finds Milo, but can't do anything else.
He could do this, man. Oh my goodness.
He can't do anything else.
Real. He can't do anymore. I was gonna say the sand tunneling could allow him to extend to delay the inevitable, but right now, the height is Janice's trio alongside with Hen and Chapix having some extreme dominance right here, and Matzo goes down in the feed to Tayson. Here it is.
He's a savage.
Tayson and eye drop here on the low ground. Now with the layer switch, they have an opportunity to get some damage done. Here we go, Chayo.
Yep, they started all the way from mid, drop down straight below. Just basically ownership of, look at basically half the zone. No one can push their boxes from the backside. High ground doesn't want to touch them at the bottom. They have to elevate though. We are going past the Coliseum. We're basically going to be on the wall, on the edge. It has to be the best rotation. Andalex, Snazy, Big Bouncer to get up as well. You got to be creative with where you're going, but now they're neck and neck with Savage's trio.
Yeah, Savage is right next door. They're on the same layer, but they're gonna move up. Andalix is gonna tarp up, slowly ramp up, and he may cut off Savage's trio, and they do.
They grab right up top over the leaderboard, 9th place, dropping down. But the people who were just barely ahead / behind them, they just go straight all the way towards the top. But it's Hen, Japix, and Janice who are still controlling height up to this point. And with this zone, they can really bully anyone who's up on top of these walls.
Question is, there's low ground is out the door now. Low ground, if you fight there, if you're a Matzo fan, if you're a Benji fan, that is out the door. So now it's about the teams who have the experience, who know how to tarp up for height, and that's why Xweez here and Andalik is actually Snazy have an opportunity to hold on. But in these fights, oh no, they go into the Coliseum and it's rotating out of the Coliseum. They may be able to get, I don't think they're gonna be able to get out there, no way.
Might be able to from the left side. Snazy has found a way to go around. Pencil up top, low HP. Janice and Chapix look better. Savage all the way on low with eye drop. They're operating as a duo, so is Flecken and Bayon. Stash has his full squad with him. Matt Split, Savage has none, just 3. But the big shots are there with lever action. We'll see Height splitting up the ammo. They're getting ready. They're prepared for the beam down. 7 trios left. We're getting closer to the top 3. That's huge too. Lucky number 13 with players. There's a big beam from Xweez. He gets down Savage. He now has the big guns available to push forward, but Snazy's behind him. Merely just the pet with the HP that he has. He can't really touch or do anything or peek out to anyone. It's all up to Xweez to lead the charge over here. Operate with one player basically on the leash. That Harpoon will make sure they can break through. 5 different trios still left alive though.
I can't believe Xweez was able to get out of the Coliseum. They probably went down and made some great layer switches to do that. Merstash is going down here. But the story is Xweez and Snazy here trying to hold on as long as possible. Down he goes, but Snazy's still up. Snazy still has an opportunity to get to the top 3, and that's gonna be, Snazy just takes out Janice with a big blast. And Snazy is still fighting for this opportunity to get into it, and he does get into that top 3.
Right now, it's a dream down on low ground to try to be able to survive this very difficult zone. Pretty soon, these guys will have to face reality as Snazy goes down. Yes, the high ground is very real. And now they're ready. It's a 2v2. Chapix and Hen versus Flecken and Bayon.
Flecken here doing his best to hold on. It's Bayon and Flecken. They had this opportunity. This is where they got into the reboot round along these horns of the Colossal Coliseum. Now, Hen has not had an opportunity to put some max damage out in this lobby here. Now Flecken is taking some damage. Flecken is in. Hen gets it right then. Hits Flecken right down. Gets down and out. Hen is on a tear. Now he's looking for Bayon. He has to find him. Bayon has a lot of health advantage. Down goes Hen. But it's Chapix at height. Can Chapix? Yes! Chapix is able to close the door on that valid attempt there with 8 limbs. But what a great finish for Flecken's trio to get to that opportunity to have a say and to move up their leaderboard with a top 2 finish right then and there. But hey, I gotta say, Snazy coming in and getting that top 3, that was big too.
Yeah, Snazy survived the whole way through. You were surprised. I was surprised. Still though, it's kind of real when you find out, these guys are kind of sleeping in low ground. They look up to the sun in the sky, and you have Chapix and Hen just dropping down beams. It's impossible to break that spot.
Yeah, I know Hen's trio, they were happy that the Colossal Coliseum was in play, no doubt, because that means most likely to get the victory out. But at the same time, that kind of move up that wall kind of took out a lot of opportunities to send beams down below, because people just basically get kind of caught on that fortifying wall. Wow.
Yeah, and the question is, with Vidil, Noah, Riley, and Reason down early in the game, was it enough? For Chapix to take it all the way towards the top in first place, the desk has the answers.
We do have the answers, but you have to wait just a moment. I know. We got to build tension. We got to build suspense. A couple things here I got to applaud. Flecken, Bayon, Diablo, the team that made it through the reboot round, who just missed out on going through the finals. They find that final opportunity, and now they're showing us, listen, we're a trio you need to have eyes on. A second place is so good. But Reese, Hen, Chapix, Janice, even when Janice was down, playing closer to that mid-ground tarp, Chapix, he's like, hey, don't worry. I got you, bro. I got you.
You know, this is the play style we're used to seeing from these guys. Eliminations early and mid game, picking up enough so you don't have to worry about Storm Surge. Then after that, claiming that height early on and just absolutely running away with it after that. You know, they pick up eliminations. I think they ended up with 8 there total. But, you know, one of the things I actually want to look at, you know, we keep mentioning Flecken's team. I was kind of, while we're watching there, you know, my prediction's Hen's team. But at the same time, when I saw Flecken going on and starting to perform there, I saw a kind of flashback from the reboot round. I was like, he has the med kit. He intentionally went into zone to take that one tick in the zone so that he could pop the med kit and go for the heal off. And it looked like you could have ended up playing it. But, you know, let's be real. Hen's team was just too good.
Yeah, great stuff all around. Reese, we've both spoken so much about Hen's trio. They've been amazing.
Yeah.
I do want to sort of highlight some of the teams who we mentioned at the top of the show, right? With Anilex's trio, they just had another really good game, 3rd place there. iDrop's trio with Tayson and Savage, they had a decent game, 6th place. Now, I mentioned these guys had bad days yesterday. If this is the time now for them to sort of pick things up, get back into a rhythm, then, you know, it's going to get really exciting because I've mentioned how, look, we've had a lot of teams, you know, who we expected to do well, doing well. Those are the two sort of teams who everyone expected to do well who haven't. So if now we're adding those guys to the list of teams doing well as well, it's like, it's just crazy. EUF and CS is insane.
And it's crazy too, just how close everything is, especially when we're coming down to like your top five trios. When they know, like, hey, we're about to go down, they're still finding opportunities to find additional eliminations, placement, the works.
Yeah, you know what? We were watching Rezon's team in that previous game. You know, this is from game 1. They started off with that big victory royale, and that took them up to the top of the leaderboards. And you know what? This is kind of how it was done. We saw Rezon at that point jump all the way back behind. If you notice, no one's paying attention to him at this point. 2 massive tag shots and then a 3rd to pick up the other one. So at this point, that is actually clutch. Now, we had to make sure this was seen again because we didn't get to see this from Rezon's PoE. But the fact that he jumped behind them meant that no one was paying attention to it at all. And then we all saw this. Zeke, you were getting hyped about this shot. Vidil picked up a massive shot. 89 HP, and you can see that he actually tries to go for a little mini play, trying to get ahead, but actually ends up hurting himself by going into the zone instead. But he's prepped. Absolutely laser focus aim, picking up Slender in that first game.
Yeah, and Shio sort of alluded to it, but in the next game, right, the game we just watched, these guys actually go down to Surge, right? They went down early, and that did leave room for other teams to sort of have, you know, a great game. Look, we saw going into this, Hen's team was in 2nd place, and that victory royale has a big chance of pushing them ahead, right? And so, how do these guys bounce back now? They just went down to Surge. This is not something we see of them, right? Like, this is not something you expect to happen to Noah Riley's trio. You expect these guys to always be good in Surge, and so how did they bounce back? Like I just said, big opportunity for them to sort of lose that 1st place slot, and they do. Hen, Janice, and Chapix are now starting to pull away. I really wanted to see on day 2 who's going to be the trio to start to pull away. Hen, Janice, and Chapix look like they're the ones to take that initiative.
You know, if any trio is going to pull away, it's going to be our prediction trio. Let's be real, Devin. Come on. And they're absolutely going for it. You know, these guys deserve this slot. Like I've already made, I'm going to say the stat again. I've said it so many times. These guys have been top 5 in every single tournament they played as a trio. You know, I definitely think, honestly, these guys are the strongest coming into that. But we can't kind of overshadow some of the other teams here in the top 5. You know, Amplify, Matzo, and Benji Fishy. Today, you know, the first game, they were 7th with 4 eliminations, and that last game only being 14th with 1. But you know what? They started off some of the other games a little bit hit or miss as well in day 1. So these guys have not been super consistent in every game. But all that kind of suggests to me is that they have the big potential for another massive victory royale and to jump back up the leaderboards.
Yeah, most definitely. I do want to sort of highlight one thing to watch out for, right? If you're a fan of, you know, seeing how rivalries play out, on that first page there, 5th place, you know, Mexi, Michael Verup, 4th place, Thomas and Nas and Flick. These guys are huge rivals, and so who's going to beat who in terms of finishing in that final place at the end of the 12 games we've had? Who knows? Bayon, Diablo, Flecken there, you saw them in 17th place. That game does sort of help them, you know, get a bit further up the standings. You know, can they sort of get into a position where they can make a bit more cheddar, a bit more dosh? It'll be interesting to see.
Well, man, we'll have to see if you guys' trio can hold on, because if they do, Chaptix is going to have to make the trio some secret ingredient soup. But for now, speaking of spicy, we're sending it back over to Sancho West and Shy Wager. It's game number 3 of the FNCS.
Let's hold on to that soup for just a little minute there, because we've got some more beefy action still in play inside the FNCS. That third game or second game just kind of passes on. Now it's really time to get the brass tacks.
Oh, yeah, man. You could feel the pressure is building slowly and slowly. You're seeing big-time reaches to make some movement. And Refsguard is now back into the fray here, looking for those first points of the day. It's just been one of those days for Refsguard's trio. But if their day 1 performance can show what they can do in day 2, they have the opportunity to at least make a say into the top 10.
Absolutely, and right now they're starting things strong. They weren't really, I guess, present that last game at Steamy Stacks. I didn't really see them around. Maybe they left a little bit earlier. Now they're really stock hopping, looking for those shots left and right. It's looking nice, and they've won against Robnik so many times.
Looks like Legend gets an elimination on Pablo. No doubt that happened out there in Holly Hedges. So many more adjustments are happening throughout the entire map. More people are moving, trying new spots here. At this moment, sometimes when you only got 3 matches left to go, Shiloh, you just got to throw it all on the wall and see what sticks.
Right now, Robnik's sticking straight to the floor. Can't move. Got knocked down. And then we have Vidil moving forward as well. These guys have to be on the hunt today. 100%. Yes. Because last game, it didn't look too good. This game, they're still not finding more. And this is why. Every POY, no one's being flexible anymore. They're really staying in their boxes. They're not over peaking. They're not going towards the right or left side to find anything more. They're just focused on their one-on-one fight.
And here's another one-on-one fight in day 1. It went towards Refsguard's trio. I mentioned that they were able to clear out the entire northeast side of the corner, sending multiple trios throughout the entire map here on their own here. And now, clawing their way up slowly. It all begins, man. We've seen it. This kind of format could definitely pop off here. Get a couple things going away. You get a box fight. You get a nice refresher when you desperately need it. Maybe you pull zone. Maybe you get to high. All of that's still in play here. But they're going to have to fight in this kind of creative box fighting map they've just created here. Like, did you see that down below? We're talking about metal tarps and everything. Like, let's go, boys. Let's have ourselves a good old-fashioned box fight.
This kind of reminds me of that dance floor all the way back.
Yes.
And what was it, like New Factories? Yep. In the last map? Yeah. This is basically the same thing. We're about to start a party. It's
not the kind of party that you definitely want to take if you're Refsguard. It's just going to further delay your rotation. It just seems like that's what happened throughout this entire Steamy Stacks here in the EU finals. You know, championships were born here. You know, Janice and Tayson, they all won solo championships from here, but it just seems to be the opposite here in trios. All the analysts, we always have this kind of conversation like, what's going on with Steamy Stacks? Why can't they produce the same kind of production on the trios base? It's just simply, it takes a long time to end your fight there.
Yeah, and as a result, everyone just kind of, you know, it gets really stuck on the leaderboard. They can't really move back and forth. Speaking of the map, though, right now, bottom right side type zone. So no one from Steamy Stacks will be able to have the freest type rotation. It'll be long.
We have to talk about the kind of day that Kiko's trio is having. They're doing really well. They're in-game. And this zone right here is going to heavily favor them as well. Now we're going to go jump back up to this engagement. Refsguard's getting one. I think that's close to being the wipe, but no, another trio is here to fight. They're here to have some more fun. And I think